Hello, my name is Jorlanditha Austin, and I'm a PhD student at Rutgers University. And today I'll be talking to you about considering andragogy tactics in your classroom when infusing diversity. So, this is important for us as educators because we are given pedagogical trainings at all times on how to be the subject matter expert and get the information to our students in the best way possible. And a lot of times this is the best way because we are giving new information that students have absolutely no clue what it is. And they need that oversight and they need that direction from us to give that information. However, we teach in communication as well, and communication is something that students have been experiencing from the day they were born. And a lot of students have backgrounds that we are not aware of that make them a lot more knowledgeable about the subjects that we are teaching, which allows them to have better insight on things and for us to be able to teach things in a way that are a little bit more dynamic and that can give better understanding to not just those students, but to other students in the class that haven't experienced what those students have. And this has a lot to do with what's going on in society today. Personal story as a young woman, I know when I started college or even when I was in high school, I had already experienced bouts of racism and things like that in the streets that would groom me into who I am today and how I interacted with people and how I thought about things. And that filtered into my education throughout the time that I've been in school. A lot of those instances that have happened have helped structure how I interacted with people or have helped me to not interact with people in certain ways. So we can't take that away from students. So I think that's something that needs to be considered. So before we start, let's just talk about the difference between pedagogy and andragogy, right? So pedagogy is literally defined as the art and science of helping children learn, while andragogy is the art and science of helping adults learn. So pedagogy basically takes into account that the children need to be directed and they need to have someone who is guiding them through everything, and they just need that one-on-one help to get through the situation. They don't know anything about the situation at all. However, andragogy is different. Andragogy examines that adult learners are motivated to learn. There are 6 principles of andragogy. They are adults are internally motivated and self-directed. Adults bring life experiences and knowledge to learning. They're goal oriented. They're relevancy oriented, they're practical, and they want to be respected. And while all undergraduate students may not be, it may not hit every part of this, like they may not have goal orientation yet that's outside of just, I want to make my parents happy. They may not have that. One thing that we can't deny is that our students are coming from a completely different background. So I pulled up some statistics for some things to make this make more sense as to why we have to stop looking at undergraduate students as just quote unquote children who need only pedagogical training. And we need to start infusing some andragogy because they are adults and they have been through some adult circumstances. So according to the U.S. Department of Education's demographic and enrollment characteristics of non-traditional undergraduates that was released in September 2015, first they defined a non-traditional student as being independent for financial reasons, having one or more dependents, not having a traditional high school diploma, attending school part-time, and employed full-time. Now, out of all of these characteristics that they consider to be non-traditional, in all undergraduates across the schema of higher education, 74% of undergraduates in the 2011 and 2012 academic year had these characteristics, which means that these are students who may be parents, who may be self-sustaining, taking care of themselves. They may have GEDs, found different tracks to come into college. They may have gone to community college first and are now coming over to college, maintaining jobs, maintaining households. They could be first generation where they have been helping sustain their families for a long amount of time. So we have to take their life experience into account when we are creating our curricula for our classes, when we are figuring out what studies we're going to be using in the classroom. And we have to let their experience speak as well into what we're doing. So according to the American Council of Education, in 2015 to 2016, 45% of all undergraduates mark themselves as an ethnicity other than white. And this is compared to in 1995-96 academic year, where it was only 29.6% of students that were saying that they were not white. So when you put these together and you say I have these students who are almost 50% of our student body that are coming in are not white students, they're diverse. And of that percentage of students, of all students that are coming in, 74% of those students are non-traditional students. So our lesson plans and what we're teaching in the classroom has to reflect that these students are coming in with life experience. That's one of the main things of andragogy, and that makes an adult learner, is that they are coming in with life experience that they are going to apply to what they are learning and how they learn it and what they are teaching. So if you are in a classroom and we are talking about confrontation, or we are talking about how to engage in communication, these students have been engaging and have been communicating and have been responsible for things that we may not be aware of. And what we tend to do as educators is look at them as 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are fresh out of high school and, are still looking for some direction. And we hold, a lot of times we say freshman and sophomore, they might need a little bit more hand holding than our juniors and seniors. But we have to put into our mindset and into our bias that these students are coming in with a true need for being treated as adults, for their learning to be directed like they are adults. And as well, while they get that pedagogical, and a lot of times they've been through things they don't know the words for, and they're learning new things that they need us to be the subject matter experts on, a lot of times they are bringing in that experience and they have the drive to be goal-oriented and want this material that we're teaching to be relevant to them, especially when you are working with diverse students. A lot of our books are written without diversity in mind unless you are specifically teaching intercultural education or communication or something like that. So it's time for us to be very aware that these students are not just young students who have absolutely no idea what's going on in life. 74% of them are non-traditional and have lived life and have had responsibilities and they are truly adults. So we have to start infusing that pedagogical area and saying these are things that they may not have experienced that we need to be aware of, and we need to make sure that we're teaching them these theories and concepts and things like that. However, when we get down to the core of exactly what communication is and how we're talking to these students in the classroom, we have to know that they have been through things, especially in today's climate. They have been They have been oppressed. They have had racist things said to them. They have been in settings where they are uncomfortable and they have to decide what is going to be my presentation of myself at this point to make sure that I can get what I need. Are people judging me because of who I am? That is where the andragogy is. And that is where we need to be very mindful of that and infusing that into our classrooms when we are teaching diversity, when we are thinking about diversity, and when we are putting together our syllabi. Right? Thank you. And thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.